about another project that you might be producing, an adaptation?
Which one?
It was from 1974.
Down a Dark Hall, Lois Duncan.
Yes.
That was one I loved when I was actually probably too young to read it. My sister and I read that one together. And it was my favorite of all the Lois Duncan novels. Some of them have been made. They made, I Know You Did Last Summer into a movie. And they're all taken. Not all of them are made, but they're all taken. And my favorite one came up just briefly. It's like, and we snatched it up. So that's what we're developing right now.
How did this young lady fit into your view as your perfect hybrid?
Well,
Remember
originally,
that 5 books that I'm going to give you later.
originally I was looking at actresses that were closer to 30 because, you know, we'd just done Twilight and they were all very, you know, the age thing I wanted to differentiate. But we needed an actress who could not only play this role but make it look natural so that you don't question it. And it's easier said than done, unless you're Saoirse Ronan. And so what it came down to was the best actress was Saoirse, and she happened to be 17, so I overlooked her sad youth so that she could give us the best performance we were ever going to get anywhere. And we were very grateful to have her.
She's great in the movie.
Isn't she so good?
For both you guys, if you were a real life soul, who would you want to be your host body?
Okay, so we've had this discussion. Do we...
I've had this question a few
Is it
times.
so it's just the physical shell? And everything else is you, your
Yes.
abilities are the same. Then I'm Adriana Lima.
Okay.
I'm really done.
I can understand that answer.
I think I'm gonna stick with B. Knowles with Beyonce. Because she's got a great bod. When did she have that baby? A few months ago, and already she looks amazing again. And I know it's just the shell, but I think even if it's only that shell,
You get the voice.
you get the
too, 'cause
voice.
that's her vocal cords.
but the shell is married to Jay-Z. And if you're, you know, that's the main thing for me, I think. So I'd pick Beyonce.
Well, I'm curious about how you were able to achieve Melanie and Wanda. How was logistically, how was that done? Did they do the ADR? Did you have to do the ADR first? Were you reacting to nothing? Were they playing that while you were acting out your scenes as Wanda? How exactly was that mapped out for you?
Yeah, well, it was something that we were trying to figure out during rehearsals, really. So for a while we weren't sure. We knew that the lines needed to be played on the day, but we weren't sure whether they would be read by the script supervisor, whether we'd get an actor in order to get the beats right and kind of have that actor instinct, or whether we would just record my dialogue in advance or have nothing. So there were a few different options, and it made sense really for us to just go into the sound studio a couple of weeks before we started shooting, and still it was only kind of the rough VO at the time, but it was enough for me to react to. So we recorded that, and then it was just played in a little earpiece for me whenever I was on set, and I wasn't sure how it would be. I thought it would be kind of difficult to get used to that, but it really wasn't. It was quite a natural thing to react to your own voice. I don't know, because I talk to myself a lot anyway, so I think that's why, because I really do talk to myself a lot. Bit weird, but I think just because of that, I found it quite natural to do that. And also as well, when you know what the line reading is going to be each time, it's going to be exactly the same and what way Melanie's lines are going to be said. It frees you up to try different things and to really play around with the scene, and so it was great for me.
But do you talk to yourself in two different voices? Two different
Sometimes,
characters?
yeah. Sometimes. Honestly. So
when you were crafting her, you were very clear about this person is Melanie and this person is Wanda.
Well, I think that was already outlined in the book pretty clearly and pretty definitely that Wanda is a very soulful, positive, serene type character, and Melanie's very feisty and very much a human, and she's a fighter, and she's always on the run. So with the result, she's always got her guard up for quite a lot of the time whenever we see her, and so that was in the book already, and was very well written and adapted in the script too. So it was really just about me reading these two different adaptations of the story and doing, you know, kind of bringing whatever I could to it.
For both of you, I'm wondering, what do you think is so appealing about the supernatural? And just for Stephenie, I'm wondering, what do you think are the basic elements that turn a sci-fi into a classic?
That's a good question.
This is a good question.
So both of you then, yeah?
Well, I think that if people knew the answer to that, they'd probably be more classic sci-fi. I don't know, because there's science fiction that I love that other people don't respond to the same way, and then there's classics that didn't do. You know, I enjoyed the concept, but I didn't fall in love with the story. And so I don't know. Any classic it's just something that becomes common.
Yeah.
Reading, and so people can talk about it because more people have read it. But I don't think that automatically means that something that's a classic is something everyone's going to enjoy.
Maybe that's what makes it a classic, is that the people who do enjoy it and may not necessarily the others are sort of obsessed with it, you know.
Or maybe it's a majority thing, and I'm just on the outside on the ones that I don't understand. So I don't know. But what was okay? Go back to the first one. Supernatural. I like writing about the supernatural because it lets you do things that aren't possible. It's kind of a bigger escape. I love reading books about just plain humans, but writing about them, it doesn't feel like I'm stepping far enough away from what could really happen. So it's a little bit more boring for me to try. I tried it once. I got very bored. But the supernatural lets you take people and put them in situations that would never, well, maybe, I guess with the aliens we don't know for sure, but or haven't ever happened, and let them respond in a way that feels genuinely human, but new at the same time because it hasn't been felt before. And I like the challenge of that.
And I know you've been in a lot of, at least a few supernatural films. So what attracts you to the supernatural, if anything?
I think for me, it can be that sort of cerebral quality that you get from those kind of films, and as Stephenie said, the escapism. I mean, I love playing characters who are very human and are a part of our world, because I do think that's sometimes it can be just as interesting to watch. But then at the same time, to have to be part of a world that we're not a part of, and to see that on screen can be so beautiful and can really take you out of your surroundings for those couple of hours. And I think if anyone's able to do that through film or music or art or whatever, or books, it's a very special thing, you know. So to be a part of something like that, and also with your acting and with whatever you do, being allowed to maybe bring something to the screen that's not so human is a great opportunity.
Saoirse, I heard that you had a little input in the choosing of those two horrible-looking men that you're working with.
Listen, I didn't pick those ones actually, so I was
You picked
involved.
the hot ones?
Well, I picked the hot ones, yeah. I was. It was really nice because I've never done anything like that before, and it was lovely to be asked because, you know, in this case, especially, the chemistry needed to be there between myself and the boys, and when I heard that Max and Jake were going to audition, I was delighted because I had met them both briefly before, a few years before. Jake was in Lovely Bones, and I had met Max during this weird audition that we did a few years ago. So we had all met each other, and we knew each other a little bit, and I mean, really, what was most important for all of us, I think, was, yes, they needed to be attractive, of course, but they needed to be good actors, and I think when any man is a good actor, that's what's most attractive about them, and that's what was most attractive about these two guys when they came in, is that they were able to really bring it, you know.